And we have a special guest in the studio live with us. We have Karl Slezak here from Karl Slezak Eventing. Karl, it's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. You've had a recent really big win, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was very exciting, for sure.
It's very exciting.
So what did you win?
I won the Cosequin 4-star at Kentucky Horse Park a few weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah. It was very good. A very, very amazing experience for me, and I've been working really hard to get there, so it's nice to finally get one under the belt.
Woo-hoo. Now tell us about the name of the horse, because I am so curious about Hot
Bobo. That's part of the reason I bought her, was her name. And
it wasn't because you were in an Irish pub or anything.
No. Well, so there's a funny story for sure. Yeah, for sure. But a Hot Bobo is an Irish nightcap, and they dip the baby's dummies in alcohol to put them to sleep at night. So that's a Hot Bobo.
I'm going to Ireland next month. I'm so glad I know this now. I feel better. A Hot Bobo.
A Hot Bobo. No, Irish
What's in
nightcap.
it?
I'm not sure what kind of alcohol they dip it in. Probably whiskey or something. But
and so the pacifier.
Pacifier, yeah.
You call it in America as a pacifier, a dummy in England, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was wondering what we were dipping in.
We're dipping the dummy in the Hot Bobo. It's getting really good already. So, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was so curious about where the name of the horse came from.
Yeah.
So you love this mare?
She's she's been my favorite from day one. She was quite.
You didn't tell the others though.
No, of course not. She's the favorite for sure. She's my girl, and no, we bought her as a young horse, and she had some challenges when we first bought her, but she's come a long way. And from day one, she's just always wanted to please. But cross country was a big thing for her, and she was really spooky. But she's come a long way, and now she's on fire, and it's awesome.
Don't you?
Look at him glowing.
Yeah, he's glowing over here. Well, he did just win.
Yeah.
Don't you find that those are usually, once you get into their mind, are usually the best ones? They're like, I don't tolerate this. You got to explain it to me.
A good mare will work. That's working with you is unbeatable, and this one wants to work with me. She was just loving the crowds there. That was actually the biggest reason.
She knows. Look at her.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm it.
That was the reason I took her to Kentucky. Was I wanted to see how she would handle the crowds, and the end of the season goal being the Pan American Games. You don't want her to get there and have a meltdown with the crowds there. So we were testing her out here, and she honestly, in the victory gallop, she was just loving it. She knew the people were cheering for her, and.
She's a beauty, isn't she?
Look at him with the greens on.
I know. How old is she now?
She's 10 this year.
10, and you've had her how long?
I've had her since she was 4. We bought her in the November of her 4-year-old year. So just come 5, yeah.
Very young, yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, marish stuff that we all know about marish stuff, we all deal with that, but in different interviews you've talked about how even though there's always a bit of marish stuff, she's really kind of channeled a lot of that into this really positive performance, and that you said it just now, she loves to work and please, like she enjoys it,
she
looks for it.
Yeah, no, she obviously when mares come into heat, can be challenging with all the hormones that they just can't focus, and she's not that way at all. She definitely likes the boys, and she can make a mess in the aisleway, that's for sure, but she never stops working. Like she's always on the job. Yeah, so it's fantastic, and we would love to do some embryo transfers on her and see if we can't reproduce her.
You can get some more.
Yeah, exactly,
that, yes.
exactly. Now she's just that attitude is amazing. Like it's hard to come by that. They just want to work and please, and there's other horses that maybe are conformationally better or just have maybe a little bit more talent, but she just puts her mind to it and she tries really, really hard and comes to work every day.
Heart and desire.
Yeah, oh my God, it's amazing.
Beat anything.
Yeah, you can't beat it. No,
yep.
It's tough to beat, and our sport being, so tough, and cross country being so grueling, you need that. You need that heart, that drive, that want to just get it done, and she's got it for sure.
So we have new listeners all the time, and we also have a decent-sized audience that aren't horse people or trainers or riders. And so we've had eventers on the show before. We've obviously explained what eventing is, the triathlon, the 3 parts and all of that. But we'll just briefly go over that again for listeners who maybe don't know much about 3-day eventing. It's actually, in my opinion, the hardest of all the horse sports, because you got to be able to do 3 different things really well. So that's really hard. So there's the jumping, there's the cross country, and there's the dressage. So you've got to have a horse that's
Very
got
versatile.
a lot of go and speed and is willing to jump, that can also key down and be beautiful in dressage as well.
Absolutely.
So very hard to find a horse that can do all of that.
It's close to impossible. I mean, I've had horses that are good in the dressage, good in the jumping, but just can't gallop. They're slow on the clock, and then other horses that are can run fast, but then can't keep their heads together for the dressage part. So it's a challenging sport for sure. Keeps us on our toes. We're always striving to just be better. But no, this mare is unbelievable, and I'm super excited about her future. So yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You clearly have a bond as well with her that's really special to you. So she's a very special horse.
Absolutely.
So you plan to take her to big things soon?
I hope so.
Even bigger. I mean,
yeah,
she's
absolutely.
already been big, but
Absolutely. No,
It's great.
ideally, we're aiming for the Pan American Games this fall, and then
And where are they?
They'll be in Chile,
Oh.
Santiago, Chile, and then again, if all goes well, fingers crossed that she can qualify and compete for Canada at the Olympics next year in Paris.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're from Canada.
I am Canadian. Yes,
Canadian.
Yes.
I haven't heard the A yet.
Yeah.
how long have you been here?
So we've always wintered here since 2001 was my first winter here. So we do winters here, summers in Canada. But when COVID hit, we decided to stay. We always owned the farm here in Anthony, and when COVID hit and Canada shut down, we just decided to hunker down here and,
You were like,
and
why
just
go
stay.
back?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't own anything in Canada. We were just managing a farm, and so it was just a better situation to be.
And where are you from in Canada?
Just north of Toronto, just in a town called Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
Huh. So that's interesting. Not that COVID was necessarily good for anybody, so please don't misread this statement. But,
Yeah, don't say
but I
that.
have heard a lot of people have told me that being, after COVID rather than returning because everything was shut down, if they were horse people, they said, well, let's stay in Ocala.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They could
Yeah.
carry on somewhat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were on the farm and we weren't going anywhere. We were just training the horses.
Right.
But even in Canada, the farms were shut down. The only people that were allowed in the barns were the barn staff and the owner of the farm. Owners of the horses weren't allowed, so we couldn't run any business.
No, so you couldn't keep your horses training.
No, they didn't even want anybody riding because they didn't want to tie up ambulances should
That
somebody
might
fall
be
off.
needed. Right.
Yeah. So they basically you were allowed to go in the barn, muck the stalls, look after the horses, and that was it. No
And leave.
riding done.
Oh, my
So,
goodness.
Yeah.
So that kind of would have slowed everything
Yeah,
down.
yeah, for sure.
So it was ideal to stay here.
Absolutely. At least here,
so much sense.
if nothing else, we could keep riding, and we could be outside. Yeah,
Right,
so-
exactly. Yes, outside. That's
Yeah.
nice. We have good weather.
Yeah, but I mean, it was when everybody ran home. Was kind of the end of March, and they were still in indoor arenas. It was still basically winter. So
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it was miserable.
So on the break, you told us the story about this great mare you bought at the auction. So
So it was, as a 4-year-old, we bought Hot Boa as a 4-year-old at an auction, and I was not paying attention, and my wife just elbowed me and said, "Oh, you tried this one, you liked it, and it's going cheap." And I just threw my hand up, and I got the horse on the first bid, which never ever happens.
Whoops.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, "What mare was that again?" Because there was 5 really nice mares that year, and then of course I was like, "Oh no, that's the mare that would rear and spin every time another horse would come at her." I was like, "Oh boy." Anyhow, we bought her. We went back to the barns to check on her, and the vet went to listen to her heart, and sure enough, she tried to kill our vet. And the next day, the vet went to draw blood, and same thing, tried to kill her. And I was like, oh no. By the time all the quarantine is done, she gets back to here. I come from Canada and settle down in Ocala for the winter. It's like mid-January. Still haven't sat on her. And like fretting the whole time just for 2 months. What did I buy? What did I buy? And I was so thankful that when I finally got to sit on her and get to know her, she was just like lovely from day one, which thank God. Huge relief. And honestly, from that day forward, she's just been fantastic.
She was done with the sale.
She was just done with the sale. She just had, exactly. She didn't like people touching her. She didn't like random people trying her. I mean, they probably get tried 6, 7, 10 times a day for 3 days. So it can be a lot. Especially in Ireland where they don't do a lot with them until they're 3, and then so kind of her 3-year-old year they break her, they bring her to the sale as a 4-year-old. And then it's like it's an overload for sure.
That makes sense for a young horse. It's a lot. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about teaching and students, and I know you have some working students and bringing others along, kind of with some goals of what you want to do with them.
So we kind of try to don't put all our eggs in one basket as far as our business goes. So obviously competing and training is a big part of it, but then also sales and lessons. We have all kinds of students. My wife and I both teach, and we have young riders. We have amateur ladies, both of which are trying to be competitive at their respective levels. But we definitely, it's the younger crowd that seem to be trying to become young professionals themselves, and those are always the funnest to teach. They're the most ambitious, and we love teaching them. So we are currently looking for a working student or two.
I saw that, yes.
To fill a spot, and again try to create the next professional.
That's wonderful, bringing up the next generation.
Absolutely.
In an exciting sport that it is. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
What kind of changes have you seen in the sport that you think are really exciting over the years?
Definitely. I mean, like within Canadian eventing we have a new high performance committee, and they are definitely bringing a lot of changes, a lot more communication and stuff, and that's going to be great for Canada. So it's, as far as like, now we just need to get younger blood. There's a lot of young blood here in America, but we need to get some young blood coming up through the ranks in Canada. And there hasn't really been anything over the last few years to get truly excited about. But I think our program is going in the right direction, and it's exciting to see the progress, and hopefully others do as well and jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, and I like the working student idea as well, because I think if people think, well, how am I going to have a horse, and how am I going to afford all this, and how can I do all this, and it sometimes you miss out on some people who are genuinely really want to do it and are going to be great, and that gives them a chance to work their way up.
I was a working student for 7 years, and I got to go to the Olympics in 2004, Athens Olympics, and as a groom for the Gary Roque, who I was working for. And I mean, it's a great experience. It's basically a university experience for horse people and up-and-coming professionals. So that was, I mean, I don't regret a minute of it. It's hard work, but you get to ride a lot of good horses. You get to experience a lot of different things, and it just only helps you along the way.
And don't you believe there's a difference between trainers that have had that experience and the ones 100%. That go, oh yeah, I spent a couple weeks with somebody here and there, and it's a totally different thing when you spend years with one person.
100%. There's definitely, I mean, you get to ride so many more horses, and that is kind of my biggest motto for any up-and-coming professionals, is that just ride any type of horse that you can sit on. I mean, in some way, in the future it'll help you, whether you'll sit on one and you'll be like, oh, that kind of reminds me of this one that I rode, and this is how it worked out. So I think that riding a lot of horses, anything is all good experience. And so again, not even just riding them, just handling them in different ways, the groundwork, the horsemanship, it's all so helpful. So I think
and to get your timing, as far as how I got to work this long, and then I've got to get this done before I go.
Yeah, for sure.
Teaches you how to manage
following you, website and all of that, and people want to find out more information or reach out to you about that working student.
So Karl Slezak Eventing on Facebook is the easiest way to kind of reach out to us.
And it's Karl with a K, everybody that's listening, not watching.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And then we do have a website, Karl Slezak Eventing as well. And but yeah, I mean, honestly, you can find my phone number
Pretty easily, right?
Pretty
You're
easily.
Googleable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on my personal Facebook page, and just reach out, get in touch. My wife's got hers on there as well, and we're easy to get a hold of. So
bucket list for you is really what you're working on now with Hot Bobo, whose name I love that name.
yeah, no, it's a great name, and I mean, again, I easily could have bought her on her name alone.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
very catchy for sure.
So bucket list is really to compete for
the Pan Ams this fall, and then the Olympics next year.
That's big, right?
Yeah, that would be super exciting.
And that'll be your first.
That'll be my first Olympics as a rider.
Really?
I was close for Tokyo, and but just missed out narrowly. And so this will be it could be my first games. So
Wouldn't that be amazing?
it'd be very exciting.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could say, hey, we interviewed that guy.
That's right. Before he was that, we were talking to us.
That's right. But he's already that. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I love that jump. I stood by that jump. I thought, that's a dog. Like, how
The dash
cool is
hound,
that?
yeah.
I mean, really, that's neat. How did you feel? That has to have been a really exhilarating moment.
I mean, nobody dislikes competing at the Kentucky Horse Park. I mean, even if it's a smaller competition, it's just great to gallop on those hills. The footing is amazing, but to have the crowds against the ropes cheering for you, it's just there's no experience like it. So I always look forward to going there and competing at that level.
And the feeling when you won has to have been like,
my God.
wow.
It's absolutely. It was
you
like a
can't
dream come true.
replicate that.
Yeah, no, you can't at all. It's sometimes just like it's unbelievable that it happened. So
And
it's
you
exciting.
had some hot competitions, so.
Yeah, no, there was definitely some serious competition, and I'm sure we'll compete against them again, and hopefully we can come up with it again.
It's
Piranha.
I got you a goodie bag full
Excellent.
of goodies from Piranha. So there's all sorts of things in here that you can try, and they all work. So,
Excellent. Thank you
Karl,
very much.
I want to thank you so much.
I appreciate
We want
it.
to wish you all the best, and we'd love to see you at the Olympics.